Oh, it is recording. Hello everyone and welcome to Let's Try The Builders of Egypt, the Prologue. What is the Prologue? It's a fancy new name for demos, basically. As I understand it, it's the first mission and it is free, and the whole game isn't out yet, so it's also kind of just an alpha. How do you like this? Well, I love the text blocks, or you know, the menu sounds that arrive before the menu does. It is pretty loud in my ears. Oh, also, I started the game once. I didn't even start the campaign, but another thing to note was that all of this was in French and user interface was telling me it was English. I had to do like Chinese English, and then it was English. You know, they're still working on the game. You can give them some lay. So this is a city builder. I believe it wants to be a spiritual successor to like Pharaoh / Cleopatra, which was the Impressions games set in Egypt way back in the day. I think it wants to, but at the same time it kind of threw out the core mechanic of walkers and how they work, so it's more a city builder in Egypt where you build monuments, and it's trying to be as fun as the Impression games while being different. That's more along the lines. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to remove the walkers. I liked the walkers, but I'm open to not having walkers either. The walkers made it an engineering problem. That was nice for me, but yeah, it's not necessarily like realistic or something. Whatever. I can't do sandbox, okay. And then everything else is locked because reasons. Post early access. So I guess I'm pretty sure there's only one map first, and then I guess I know he's planning to add a few more to the prologue before the end, so I guess he wants to add all of these. Saqqara is the first pyramid that I know. I did play the Impressions Pharaoh. I did not play the entirety of it. I actually got really peeved about combat, so if there's one thing that I hope he improved this combat, I'm pretty sure he kept it. So we need to gather bread, export bricks, gather pottery, and we gather dwellers in this one, apparently. Can't change that. So the ruler of Upper Egypt, King Nama, conquered the Lower Egypt and united the kingdom of the Nile, and now the country needs a capital. There's a missing word there. King Aha, Nama's successor, sends you to Memphis in a hedge to supervise the construction of this magnificent city, a political, administrative, and religious center which will become home to the royal family, and thanks to its monumentality, will strengthen its authority. I'm pretty sure we're not building monuments, but whatever you say, dude. Let's go. That was a little rough on the voice. Well, okay, I'm not reading all of that. Are you crazy? Is it trying to be informative at the same time? Like telling us where to get licenses or something? That's actually, I think, it's good that he's citing his sources. I like that. As a historian, I'm not really a historian, but I did do a back degree in history. I do appreciate that. Anyway, let's start. Let's see how this game works. You put housing down, and then you put water, and then food, and then stuff, usually. Pretty sure I just read that. Oh, that's a lot more red than I remember that being the menu. Was it really 12,500? I remember more like 2,500. Maybe that's just me, I just didn't see the one. Whatever. The short tutorial is intended for the early access version, that's the prologue. It will be expanded as the game develops. That's what I was saying. I guess it expands all the way to Saqqara. And then you build your first pyramid, and you want to build the rest of the pyramids, and then you have to, you know, buy the game, because yeah. Here you will learn the basic rules of the game. Or press spacebar. No thanks. In ancient Egypt, the idea of currency was unknown. Okay, thank you. That's a tree. The work was paid for with bread and beer, so this is currency, kind of, and this is not as cheap currency. This implies this mechanics treat these resources as the cost of placing buildings and exchanging wares. You can find their icons. Okay, so we remove walkers because that's unrealistic. This is realistic. I need bread to build houses now? Okay. Whatever. I mean, it pays wages, but it doesn't pay... Well, maybe it does. Who knows? Did people really pay for their houses with bread? I'm gonna... I'm gonna get a 10,000 bread loan and I'm gonna repay the breads to the bank. Like, no, okay, I'm applying way too many future concepts. I'm just having fun with the idea. Never mind me. You can find their icons in the top panel. You will get bread and beer mainly from trading and collecting taxes. Yeah, right, the bread tax. There we go. That started revolutions in some countries, I'll have you know. It started the Russian one, didn't it? The ladies that did a revolution? Not really. Was it? Yeah, I think it was. The ladies that were protesting the price of bread or something. Anyway, communism! That's also unknown in Egypt. I don't think it's going to happen when we tax their bread. So make sure you do not run out of them, because in such a situation you will not be able to further develop... Oh, I can zoom out. Further develop your settlement. I mean, I can just tax them more, no? I guess. The settlement development should start with designing a grid of streets. I was more aiming for, you know... Is there a map? Can I just look around? That looks like a road. I think it's eventually going to tell me, you should connect that to the rest of the kingdom over here. There's a road that just, you know, ends there. Hold on, I am exploring. Is there... Okay, that feels better. Using WASD to move the camera. That's desert, okay. It looks kind of nice. And this is the Nile, one would assume? It's hard to tell, it could be the Red Sea for all I know. Anyway, civilization ends here. Let's start it over there. Where it says I should. What was it saying, even? So you design a grid of streets, select a road from the building list. That's here. That's a house and road. Oh, 10 bread for a piece of road. Interesting. Time is running all this time. You know what this is lacking? The speed button. Even the Impression games had a speed counter, but not this one. Pause as well. I don't know if there is a pause. Maybe it's going to tell me there's a pause. Not that it matters right now. Select the road from the building list and place a street where you will be building your settlement. Remember that the first basic resource is water. It's over here. So best practice to build a settlement along the river. You mean the desert isn't good for me? What do you mean I can't? I can hear. Got him. Maybe? Oh, you click again. There we go. I got this. I can just do that. That's the wrong way, guy. Hold on. Let me do this. I got this rolled thing. Nailed. Nailed it. So now we need to build houses. Well, that's logical. It's starting from the very start thing. I did not... Can I just click and drag? No. You can do that in the Impression games. I'm going to stop bringing them up. It's probably trying to be a successor to other things. Like, it's pulling ideas from other places, I'm pretty sure. I just don't play that many city builders. I do enjoy them when I do play them, but it just doesn't happen that often. The building placed like this will encourage immigrants to settle in your city if it has sufficiently high levels of satisfaction, which is a mechanic in the Impression game, so I know what you're talking about. It's not always easy to achieve. So early on, everybody's gonna want in, but if you want if you want more people, you're gonna need to improve their conditions. That is in a general term, coined as satisfaction. Like, is there enough resources? Is there fun around? That's a weird way to explain. I'm bad at explaining things, I guess. Is there also not unpleasant buildings, like warehouses or something, which are noisy and bother the neighborhood and stuff? It's like, you know, whatever. The arrival of the first inhabitants is announced by a message in the bottom right corner. I do have a message. Incoming! Okay. Are they here yet? What is this red thing? Oh, I think... Oh, was it here? Gotcha. Look at them. They're all walking and stuff. They're tiny. Well, I guess they should be. These are not walkers, you know. They're not giants walking among the humans, providing services and whatnot. So I hear this is what... I think this is what replaces the walker mechanic. Like, these will have access to everything that is connected by a road within this circle. So that's these houses, basically. And the bottom right, so it's going to be a whole lot of circles in this game, isn't it? I mean, there's a lot more than 5 people per houses here. I'm gonna run out of space, or one person does not count as, you know, one. Can you just stop? Okay, what's your problem? House level is 1. There are no dwellers, no workers, no nothing. Need for upgrade. We need to have access to a well. Why are you happy? You also have access to a well. What's different? No, seriously, what's different? Does somebody see the difference? Why are these unhappy? Oh, I guess there's just nobody inside, and now there's someone. I see it! I don't know why I didn't see it the first time. Well, I guess I'm blind. Look for or don't look for work. You can control them from there, apparently. You see, we've read that, I think. Remember that you can always demolish a building. No, I can't. Liar. Refund depends on the level of difficulty. Note that removing buildings at a later stage can be tricky, as you can shatter the delicate economic balance. Something like that. Yes, you do have to do it progressively if you do it later. Let's practice demolition on this road because it doesn't need to exist. Remove the highlighted oh, now I can. Ah! I was still clicking down. That's scary. I don't want to remove the houses or something. Look at him just hanging out, not doing anything. Lazy bones. Your dwellers need to be protected against fires. You know, in the Impression games, they waited until something of yours burned down before telling you should do firemen. And not just telling you, allowing you to. That's funny. Fire, stockpile, granary, bazaar. I know all of these names and I know what their function is because I played the Impression games. It will get there eventually, I assume. This is a firehouse? Whatever you say. Note that after clicking on the fire station range... How do I click there? Oh, it's an icon in the bottom right corner. It's not on. So it will put on the coverage of the thing. See, that's the coverage. You know, lacking lacking the button down there. I can tell by right clicking. So it's not as big as the houses, is it? Yeah, definitely not. This stops here, and then this stops way over there. And it's basically the same thing, right? Learning. This building protects other buildings from fire, but remember that the effectiveness of the protection reduces as the distance increases. It's a good idea to build a fire station at relatively small distances from each other. Better cover results in fewer fires and reduces the consequences of them, I assume. So ideally, okay, I see. So that's why it's super green there and basically white here. Like, they're gonna do stuff here if something happens, but they don't prevent much of anything, right? That's the risk of fire and the risk of collapse and the risk of crime and disease and whatnot. Why is this red? Does red mean there's no risk of it ever happening? Why is there a risk here now that there's a firehouse though? I don't get it. It's now time to look at the buildings you have constructed. What of them? Your right mouse button, well, I figured that one out. The details of the building will be displayed like a house. If you look from the top, you will notice the things listed below. The current warnings. There's nobody here. Wait, what? There's 5 people. What are you talking about? Name of the building. It's a house. The level of the building. 1. Wait, this has levels too? No. I guess it just doesn't have... Oh, no water. There you go. Must have clicked it when there was no dwellers. The capacity and the house, the number of available workers, blah, 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 blah. So capacity and workers. Risk of disasters, which would be illness, that's disease, okay. Fire, crime, and collapse. The required resources to raise the level of the house. A well. Collected resources and current access to buildings. What it has, that's all the resources. Jewelry, papyrus, linen, straw. Straw? What do you use the straw for? Figs, pomegranates, chickpeas, pottery, lettuce, fish, meat, wheat? Looks like corn. I'm crazy though. I could see wheat, I guess. There's no beer. Oh, it's currency now. There you go. Yeah, there used to be beer. Is there something missing? Straw is new. You didn't have that in Pharaoh. And then beer used to be in there because it wasn't currency. Currency was its own thing. So, wheat, pottery, chickpeas, pomegranates, figs. All these food types were in. There was 2 types of meats. Now there's only 1. Like there was game meat and there was meat you produced by animal husbandry. I summoned my civilization knowledge because I didn't know the word in English. Anyway, anything else? Something determines what. Note that each house has its own range, which determines the maximum distance to the building in which the dweller can work. Oh, it's the work range. It can work in things within this. Okay. In the case of hard-to-reach workplaces, such as mines, it is worth considering building a work camp, which is mostly a self-sufficient unit. You have to run that one by. Doesn't the work camp need access to workers? So what would you do? Is that how work camps work now? You just put a work camp here, and so these people will work here, and that just puts another area here where people can work, and then you would put another work camp here, and then these people could work in this work camp, and then you put a mine down here, and they all work? Is that how that works? Am I understanding this correctly? You're not going to tell me. In order to upgrade, I guess we're just going to have to test it, but it's kind of just holding my hand right now, so I can't really do whatever I want. In order to upgrade the house, the well should be placed in accordance with the requirements we have just observed. Build a well in the close range of the houses. That's pretty close, I guess. You're leaving room for them to... That's the only sanitary thing? There's no doctors in here? Look at me! Got a well. It's a well. These people have very little access to stuff. They have access to it. I don't know why. This only affects, like, I guess it barely affects that square. Just natural resources into water. That's what they're doing. What do you mean 7%? It's producing something, I think. The house will now be upgraded if it has been completely occupied, is by the road, and meets all the conditions. Remember that there is something missing from the previous level in the next level of the house. The house will be degraded to the previous level after a while. Okay, if the well suddenly disappears because I get demolish happy, it's going to disappear for a while. I don't really get it though. So this is how far they can work, but this is how far Isn't that barely in range, though? So, what is the lesser effect when you're on the outside of the circle? So many questions. Shut down. No, please don't. Kind of need those. So right now you need to access to one type of food. Right. You're also waiting for more workers. Anyway, let's continue this. Production chain. Each city needs an organized production for its growth, starting from the production of basic resources necessary for the upgrades of the houses. What do you want? I don't know. Cell phone's going crazy for some reason. Build a clay pit in the available space. This one? Okay. I mean, like, there's a bunch of available spaces, but sure. Manufacturing products may involve more than one building within the production chain. You will find information about the building by right-clicking it. Not all resources and waste can be obtained, blah, 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 blah. We need to trade. We'll get to that eventually. What's in there? Ware production. Brickmaker, potcher, and clay pit. Kind of. I don't know about this. Let's do it. This does not have an effectiveness circle, which, you know, is fine. What is that? You don't even have workers and you're working on something. Oh, you do have workers. Oh, there you go. It just doesn't update very much. What does that do, though? This one doesn't do anything. 1 out of 7. What happened? Oh, available workers. Got it. So that's the available workers. These people just, you know, they're on top of these buildings that are as far away as possible. These people are lazy. Look at them. They're just not. How are they managing to not get there first? It's crazy. What are they producing, though? Like, what is this doing? What happens when it reaches 100%? Let's just sit around and watch. Do we? A workforce in the settlement by building new houses. Wait, oh, hold on. I think that's what it's explaining here. Production buildings have a minimum number of employees below which they don't start working, and with a maximum number of employees, production reaches 100% efficiency. Is that the, oh no, it's the effectiveness. There you go. So it's not talking about this. Oh, these people are producing way faster. I think it's just producing clay. This one. This makes sense. I don't know what the water is producing, though. Look at him go. 100% is coming soon. It's this guy. What is he doing? It's maybe not this guy. Oh, there's a clay right there. Okay, so it produced a thing. Now it contains 1 out of 2 clays. What does this do? Like, it produces water. What do you mean it produces water? Does it just pulses and then water is given to all the houses around? And that's just the rhythm with which it feeds water to the houses within its circle. Like, if I put down a house, it's gonna take 100% of that before it has access to water, because that's when water is going to be, I don't know, magically sent there. What happens? 5%. Goddamn. So slow. Why is this so slow? Goddamn. I just want to know what's going on here. Sleep. Don't do that. 100%. Congratulations. It just starts over and nothing happens. I'm just gonna guess that's what happens. Like, that's... You just got access to water. It just kind of pulsed. I don't know. Keep an eye on the workforce. We're fine, I'm pretty sure. The production of wares may require the construction of more than one building within the production chain, obviously. You'll find information about the building by right-clicking on it. It's going to tell me what it needs. Alright, so now it's full of clay. It can't produce anymore. Finished wares are collected by the employees of the stockpile and stored there. You have the stockpile in close range to the production buildings in the same way as before. I don't think I've ever built a storage yard, but I know what you're talking about. Wait, did I say storage yard? That's their old names. I meant stockpile, of course. So you put them close because you want them to be as fast as possible getting the stuff, especially since usually there's only one carter. Now there's two. Okay. So there's... Okay, it has 10 carriers, so they're way more effective than the old storage yards from Pharaoh. In the old storage yards from Pharaoh, you had basically two? No, you had one. You only had one that did everything, but some of the production buildings, like Clay, actually handled the delivery themselves. So right now it's using two of its carriers. And then you can tell it what it can take. There's no button to put it all to nothing, though. Wait. Okay, that's the amount we have. Don't take, just sell. Sell? Please. It's sell. S-E-L-L, not S-A-L-E. Thank you very much. Sell up to this much. Down to, rather? As in, keep this much, but sell the over. So yeah, it's sell down to, not sell up to. Just sell. So, no limits, just do it. Collect the things! Which... typically in the old Pharaoh games meant that it will actively go out in and take it from other stockpiles. And then take all just means it accepts everything. But up to this being, I assume, the limit it can take. How many squares are there? 4, 8, 12 squares. 400 per. Yeah, that sounds like an old storage yard. It really does. Alright. So storage yards could take 3,200 instead of 4,800 because they had less squares. It was a 3x3 and you lost like one square. And it was 400 each. Oh, so 36. What am I talking about? No, 8 times 400, 32. That's right. Now it's 12 times 400. So they're bigger, there's more workers. They're just a better stockpile. I just wish there was a button to change everything, because very, very often in Pharaoh anyway, I don't know, maybe this game's different, but in Pharaoh, very, very often I would specialize my stockpiles. It helps to rationalize the work everywhere, and I would just take none, and then I would pick the one that I want him to have. Oh, barleaf. Let's look at what we can get, actually. Wheat, bricks, pottery, wood, clay, reeds, barley. Barley makes beer. You can't have beer, though, because that's currency. Reeds is for papyrus, flax is for linen, turquoise is just gems. They call gems turquoise now because reasons. Whatever. I mean, really, there's no gems and there's turquoise. They just changed the name. Whatever. Copper is for military. Gold is just... Wait, gold? Gold was just money, but now money is not... It is bread, so... I guess gold's a thing now. Granite, limestone, plainstone, sandstone, that actually all existed. I think. Yeah, it all existed in the Pharaoh. Just different building materials, don't worry about it. Papyrus, linen, meat, jewelry. That's what you make out of turquoise. Weapons, that's what you make out of copper. Chickpeas. Lettuce, figs, pomegranates, straw. Oh, you can have beer, but that's currency. What? Can you have bread? Your game makes no sense. Okay. You can have beer, but not bread. I guess this just looks at how many you have in stockpile? I don't know. Oil is new as well, I think. I don't remember oil being part of the Pharaoh game. Okay, anyway. To complete one typical production chain, build a brick maker. Yeah, it is pretty typical. Although pottery is more typical. In my opinion, very humble opinion. Bam! It's a brick maker. It makes bricks out of clay, so it needs to get... Okay, so he handles the delivery. That was also the case in Pharaoh, as I recall. He handles the delivery, and then they're gonna make clay. So they're effective, but they don't have the material. They also need straw, actually. I'm not getting straw from anywhere. Some production buildings require specific conditions or locations. Well, must be built by the river. Typically, if it's green ground, it's wellable. It was in Pharaoh. I don't know if this game has the same rule. Quarries by the hills. What's a hill? Is that a hill? I don't know if it's a hill, but it's rocky. It's a good place for a quarry, it feels like. Woodcutters require forests. How big must they be? Which may be depleted if you devastate the entire woodland. Oh. You have to manage, it's not gonna come back. Oh, that's interesting. Remember that buildings within a single production chain must have been connected to the same road network in order to be able to supply each other, because, you know, the carts don't go off the roads, ever. Your walkers, either, but there's no walkers in this. Roads are used mainly by stockpiling granary workers, so keep roads connected if you want to transport wares in an efficient way. Or, you know, at all. Inhabitants need food to improve their houses. As before, we need to create another production chain. Oh no. I wonder if there's floodplains in this one. So, each upgrade has its own requirements. You can check them, obviously. A fishing wharf, is that what we're doing? Food! Fish and farm, and the farm can be whatever. What do you mean you're letting me choose? But if I don't want to, whatever, it's gonna be there. Wait, what? Did I build it? Okay, I did build it. Food produced has to be stored in a granary. Oh, that's tiny. So, granary used to be 4x4s and storage yards 3x3. They kind of just inverted that. Admin buildings feels weird to have a granary there, but what do I know? There you go, granary for you. And then, yeah, distribution is there. Bazaar. They're explaining the food chain. So there's something that produces food. All the food gets put into granaries by default. Storage yards can have them, but usually, well, I don't know if this game changes it, but in Pharaoh, if they're in storage yards, they're there to be sold, and it's usually not profitable, so whatever. The house has access to a well, physician, dentist. Okay, we're not there yet. Okay. System booth, bandstand, pavilion. They just kept everything. Yeah. Yeah, this is interesting. So they kept most of the requirements from the Pharaoh games. They're really trying to be spiritual successors to Pharaoh. I'll give them that. You do recognize it. I think it's going to be a fun game. Maybe, probably. So I was explaining the food chain. Yeah, something produces food, it goes to granaries. They have carriers, apparently. What do you mean? Hold on, no workers? Oh. How does it choose what to be working on? I just, you know, vague question like that. Yo, I don't need bricks. Stop it. Shut down completely. Go away, workers. There you go. Fixed it. Now, if I tell you to just come back, you're the one missing workers, right? Hello? 7 out of 10. Yeah, see? This one's not missing workers. Okay, we can manage workers a tiny bit better now. Just a tiny bit. Wait, what is that? Finished wares can be used to build a monument if the mission requires it, or can be traded away. To do this, you need to set up a trade route. Very much looks like the original game. Anyway, these have carriers, and these also have carriers. Who does what here? So this guy... Enene! He's delivering fish to the granary, clearly. And now this guy is Samat. And he's going there. Okay, so his carrier is the one that handles the delivery from food production areas to here. Oh, and he's the one at 300 now. like the storage yards were in the original game. That's interesting. Anyway, so they handle getting the stuff from the food production, and the bazaar handles getting the stuff from the granaries. So in theory, you can very effectively have one granary for 8 food production things, and one bazaar for every 5 granary. In theory. Anyway. Finished wares can be used to build a monument. Yeah, we've seen that. Actually, click on the region map. It's a white region, full of sun and whatnot. Can I zoom out? No, that's a terrible map. That's way too zoomed in. You're on the region map. You will find your settlement on the map and all other then known settlements. You can only make contacts with some of them at the beginning, but the situation may change during the mission depending on the results of your choices. So it's not a game I played, but I know they introduced, I think in Empire, the impression games. There were other city builder impression games. In the later ones, Pharaoh is like the second one. They introduced the idea that you interact with the other cities and they start to like or dislike you. Stuff like that. Although you had that a little bit in Pharaoh, it was just less diplomatic. There were just events. Anyway. I assume we want to talk to Abidos, unless that's us. It might be. Our city! Okay, no, never mind. Right, we're building Memphis. Abidos! Okay, I press this to continue. Selected settlement. Wait. Why does it not start at the beginning? I don't know. Right click on this. Oh, I have to right click. Hi. Our relations? Why is trade a weapon? What? Level of development of trade. Level of development of trade. Okay, this is probably trade, although 3 bars doesn't really tell me much, and this is probably their military strength, which just has the wrong description at the moment. Open a trade route. Select Abidos is currently the only city you can trade with, because, you know, the tutorial needs to make this easy. Trade route. It will cost 200 bread. It's a lot of bread, man. I'll be baking bread for a long time. The trade route has been opened. From time to time, a trader or ship will come to the city to exchange their wares. At the beginning of each year, amount of purchased wares is resale. Okay, so this is, they want to buy bricks and clay. This is how much they can. Why is it on the left? What? Okay, usually you know, put these numbers the other way around. Usually you'd go, they've bought 0 out of 1200 and not they've bought 0 out of, that's just, the logic there is a little wrong. Anyway, personal preference, I would invert those, but you do you, I guess. So they want to buy these, they will buy them for 150 a piece, or it's probably 100. Pieces tend to be 100. And then 700 at 35 though. Anyway, if a trader exchanges all his goods during the year, he will not arrive again until the next one. Yeah, whatever. So they don't clog you up. That's interesting. Anyway, there's a limit to how much they will buy yearly, and that's the end of that. The default option. Wait, what? You must first determine whether you want to import, export, or do nothing. The default option blocks the possibility to import and export. To change it, click the economy icon. Oh, that's the economy tab. Okay. So this is the amount we have, I guess. And this is them. Sell price, buy price. This is how much they're selling us, because you already produce and you can export to Abidos are bricks. To change your policy on bricks to export, Hold on. I have fish as well, not that it matters. Where's bricks? Bricks! I have 0. Anyway, export. Excellent! If you want to keep bricks in a specific stockpile, you can set it in its options on the information card of the storage yard. I explained that earlier. I'm also going to export this, but I'm going to set a limit. I want to keep... I don't know what the limit would be. I don't know how fast it consumes. It doesn't seem to be consuming it very fast. I'm going to assume, because it needs 2 clay thingies per production, and I'm going to assume my clay pit can produce 2 things of clay faster than my brick maker consumes them. So I'm going to keep only 2. Otherwise it's going to be like 4, I guess. Knowing the basics of the game, you can focus on completing the mission to recall the conditions of the victory. Go to the general tab. The what now? Mission description. You need to do stuff. I need to also export bricks. I mean, I'm gonna make more. Okay, I have stuff to do, don't I? Wages are pretty damn low. Also, buildings cost stuff. Is that maintenance or something? I don't know. I'm pretty sure it is because it's wages. So like the brickmaker employs 10 people, so it costs 30 every month or year or something. I don't know if the wages is yearly or not. So balance is bad right now, but we're gonna get there. Don't worry about it. How do I get out of this screen? These are the most essential rules. Thank you. Close. Close yourself. How do I get out of here? That's not it. Do I just click on my thing? No. Ah. That almost makes sense. Alright. Clay. Sell up to... way lower than that. Can I just, you know, like... 200. And then, don't take that. Don't take fish either. Okay. We're gonna need more fish. Can I get in the? Can I squeeze another fishing thing in there? No. Okay. Nice. Very nice. Can I rotate this? Oh, that rotates the camera. Interesting. Where can I build that? Nowhere? Okay. So I have to get a lot more clay and stuff going, I think. This... I'm getting a lot of clay. Mind you, I think I'm going to increase this. And I'm going to increase my production of stuff. Oh, they're upgrading. They had better be upgrading and not downgrading. I can actually do a shrine. It's not a temple though, so I don't think it's gonna do much. Buildings of cultural heritage. A decorative palm and a plaza. Oh my god, plazas. What do you mean plazas of 4 squares? That's not the plazas I know. Alright, what am I looking for? Ware production. I'm gonna make some more brick makers because they actually make money. I am lacking workers a little, aren't I? Let's make some housing. Same intervals because otherwise we're gonna get really, really, you know, mad. Wait. Does the well reach them? Probably not, doesn't it? What is that? What do you want? Oh, it's a trader. It bought my clay. It has nothing else to do, though. Oh, it's waiting. I don't know, actually. You have, what do you, oh, straw. I need straw. Where do I get straw? Food production! Give me some farms. What do you mean I can't build there?